So let me pull up the chat. So we'll give it probably about 7:04, 7:05. That they started a minute late. So
Sounds good.
and then we already got 3 viewers. Fantastic. All right, for the viewers out there, is the background music too loud at this point in time? Because I can turn it down. I just didn't want it to be awkward silence there while we wait. Um, but we will get started here very shortly. I just want to get the stream filled up. So I do appreciate the 3 of you that hopped in here. I know we're a minute late. I do apologize. Oh, Mr. Stillwell, thank you, sir. It is perfect, fantastic. Um, but yeah, so we'll have Layne here, and then Jayce will join us around 7:30, and then there may or may not be a few more Chos rolling in here or not, but we're excited. Yes, it's spring ball time. I know Lane's probably excited to actually get out there on the field and not just have to hit weights and workouts every time. So, a little reverb. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So I'll get about another minute or so. Let them get in here. Going. We'll go ahead and get it going. Be cognizant of everybody's time. I know it is a Tuesday night, so I'm joined again by a returning guest here, University of Central Oklahoma Senior Center, Layne Grantham. Layne, thank you again for taking time out of your spring camp to come on and talk to us. I guess just start by telling the listeners out there, the viewers, how's camp going for you?
Yeah, it's excuse me, it's going really well. We're seeing a lot of the mid-year transfers, getting to see what their talents are and watch them display those. And we're really happy with those guys. And then getting some guys that um, had opportunities to play last year at an early age, they're kind of coming into their own and just solidifying themselves in their whatever position they play. So it's been a good camp so far. It's been a lot of fun, and we're just steadily improving each day. So you can't ask for much more.
And from an offensive line point of view here, I know last year there was some inconsistencies there. Do we feel like the line is in a better spot now than maybe it was, say, this time last year, this time at the end of season, given you all returning the bulk of the starters from last year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just maturity. We had a lot of young guys play last year. It's funny, they all refer to me as like the grandpa, and I'm only 22 in comparison to guys that I've seen roll in here that are, 25, 26. But, it's been a good maturation period. Guys just getting stronger in the off season, faster. Had a really good off season, and then yeah, just guys being more comfortable in the playbook too is a big one. Kind of our full year with Coach Doral and how he likes practices to run, how he wants technical things done. So I think guys are making a huge step on the offensive line just because of maturity and just the time that they've been involved with the playbook and all that. So
And you touched on the playbook. Now, I mean, from an offensive line standpoint, I think kind of gets lost in the shuffle that you all also have to learn the playbook. You have to learn when to block, where to block. So that comfort level now, do you think that that's going to help you all not think as much, maybe kind of react more than think about it and then react?
yeah, I think the biggest thing with the playbook is um, you know obviously we introduced it last spring, and then felt pretty comfortable. In any program, guys pick up on things at their own pace, so that's obviously a learning curve no matter what. But I think the biggest thing is that with the playbook being able you like being in it for a whole year is guys are asking like really good questions now. We're watching old game film, we're watching practice film, and we're talking about stuff that we haven't talked about since Coach Doyle has been here. Um, and I think that just goes along with guys are maturing, understanding the game more, and we're able to take the punch to them now instead of kind of. I felt like, you know, it makes sense, but we simplified a lot of stuff being in a new offense and all that. But I feel like we're able to take that next step, which is what Coach Doyle has talked about all offseason. And we're just taking everything to the next step. You know, our fits, run fits, pass fits, understanding of the game, hustle, just things like that. So I think that will allow us to be able to take the punch to more teams instead of kind of like, okay, sitting back, just filling out the game. I feel like we're going to be able to start a lot more hot. So.
And I know you mentioned that some guys that haven't played yet, maybe some redshirts, some young guys that have really looked good so far. So who are some names that come to 28th fans can kind of look out for in that spring game?
Yeah, so I mean, shoot, there's a bunch that pop off. I mean, Jack Puckett is a big one, linebacker from Bixby. He probably would have played for us last year, but he had appendicitis in fall camp, which sidelined him for a couple months. But he took on a huge leadership role in the offseason in the winter. And, I mean, it's just showing right now. He's playing at a really high level. And then, let's see, who else? Offensively, Cayman Bradford, he's on the offensive line. He's doing a lot of really good stuff right now. He's understanding the playbook, and I think it helps that he's around guys that have been here, and we can help kind of show him the way. Guys like Tariq, Darius, that whole wide receiver group has just elevated their game. Guys like Terrell Davis have really stepped up in that room. And then in the running backs room as well, you have Jaden, Tajay, P. Scott. I mean, you got all these guys that can kill you in any way, in a different way. So, like, they've all got their own unique characteristics to how they play the game. And I think that's what's really going to be exciting is that it's going to be a lot of different things that we can do, make it a multifaceted offense. So those are just kind of the names off the top of my head from either new guys or redshirt kids. So yeah.
And you mentioned Bradford. I was very impressed with his tape because normally for a guy of his size, you don't expect the athleticism. What have you seen from him that should make UCO fans excited to see what he does this fall?
Physicality. That is the biggest one. I mean, he is a rolling ball of butcher knives. He is just once he gets his hands on you, I mean, good luck. It's funny because when we do individual drills, nobody wants to be his partner because it's like, golly, you're going to come out of there wobbling around. Or, I mean, he's already put multiple guys on their butts just because that's just how he plays. So I think the physicality is a big one, and he's just a very large human being. Like, you don't really – like, you see it, but he put the pads on him, and he gets out there, and you're just like, this is a mountain of a man. He makes – I mean, I'm already undersized, but he just makes me look incredibly undersized. So I think that's the most exciting part is you'll see his, physicality every play. So.
And then being with Steph kind of with being the main starter last year, I know sometimes we have a quarterback that's mobile, likes to extend plays, take off. It's kind of tough from a blocking standpoint. Like, how do you all feel better now, kind of having a feel for Steph, like when he might run, when he might extend plays, so you don't go past on a scrimmage, maybe you kind of hold your blocks longer. Is there kind of like a feeling, some kind of process to that?
Yeah, I think subconsciously there definitely is. Regardless, I mean, obviously I've played with Steph now for 2 years, and I know how he is. So I know that he can make anything out of nothing. So I think personally, I mean, already. I'm not stopping the play till the whistle's done. But I think as a collective, guys are just more, I guess, cognitive and aware that okay, like this group of guys, especially Steph, like just when you think the play's done, he'll bust one out for 50, or he'll throw on the run, cross his body, and complete a pass. Like it's just stuff like that helps us up front because it's like okay, in a lot of other instances, the play would be dead for a majority of other teams. But with guys like Steph, like I said, you just never know. So that's why it's better to be safe than sorry, and you just play your butt off till you see him on the ground, and you go help him up and get ready for the next play. So.
And now I'm sure some might be wondering here because the defensive line, obviously they lost Michael, they lost Robert. Are they still as tough to go up against in practice?
Yes, of course. It's funny. It's funny because I'm bringing up another guy, Zachary Stillwell. He's they call him the technician. He is on his A game every day. He's a tough guy to block. And it's kind of like Coach Sanders' MO, right? He reloads every year. And Zach was a guy who redshirted last year and got to take a lot of good reps and stuff like that. But he shined in the off season, and it's coming to fruition now in the spring. So, but yeah, that defensive line will never be easy, ever, and that's how you want it. Competition is always high, but guys are smart. We take care of each other in practice. There's opportunities that you have to kill somebody, put them on the ground, stuff like that. But we do a really good job of like keeping guys up, keeping them healthy, and still getting the really good competition. So to answer your question, no, it has not gotten any easier with the departure of Rob and Mike.
Well, I mean, that's definitely reassuring to UCO fans out there. And I'm sure not much for you going to practice every day with them. But now you touched on competition. We had Hunter Largent on here last week. He mentioned him and Zane are fighting for that nose guard spot. Now, obviously, you being a center, you go up against them every day. So, what have you seen from both of those guys?
Golly, I mean, regardless of who gets that spot or whatever, I mean, that is a lockdown spot. I mean, they are very high IQ players. They have nuances in the game that you kind of just can't teach. Hunter can beat you either way. Zane is freaky athletic. I think it's a good mixture of, Hunter, which you get more, I'd say probably power, strength, but he's still got that twitch. And then you get Zane that just when you think it's, he may just be speed or twitch. I mean, he bull rushes you 8 yards in the backfield. So they've been playing really well this spring, taking on really good leadership roles. Hunter was a guy that really stepped up this offseason and has been asking a lot of his guys, and which has been really good for, like I said, their group. But yeah, both those guys are phenomenal players, and if both of them are in at any point in time, I'm very confident in their abilities and what they're asked to do, that they can accomplish that. So.
And then you mentioned the running backs there. Because last year it was a committee. I felt like, and then but now looking, you mentioned Jaden Washington. I think he's a home run hitter. You mentioned some more guys that are there. What kind of are you seeing out of the running back unit that will make your job as offensive lineman easier?
Oh man, I mean they just have very natural instincts at the running back position. I mean, they a lot of times make our blocks right. So we may, identify somebody the wrong combination, or we may go somewhere wrong, but they make us right. They fit off of us. And so I see that a lot. I see them, covering our butts, which is good. But I also see they're just like willingness to learn and grow. They're all in there, and they're all asking questions, and they're watching other guys take reps and taking mental reps, and it's just a really well put together room. So I think, like I said, they're natural running running back position qualities makes us right a lot of the times when we're wrong. Which I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. So that's the biggest thing that I think I see in that group, which is will be phenomenal in the fall. So
And from a preparation standpoint, from maybe a mental standpoint, do you feel like you all are in a spot where you're kind of building off last year, like that mid season when we're talking from Missouri Western, not Missouri Western, from Northwest Missouri to Fort Hays, that stretch of games where you all were really, it's going to be really focused, really sharp. Is that mentally where you all are now? Or are you still trying to get back to that level that you were when you all had that 3 or 4 game winning streak?
yeah, I think the biggest thing with us is consistency. The spring's a tough time because you only get 15 practices, and the way they're spaced out is it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 5 weeks. And it's tough because it's hard to stay focused because unlike the season, obviously, you're ready to, you're preparing for a game, the competition, right? You got something coming up on Saturday, as opposed to here where it's just, there's nothing that you're really preparing for. There's no game, there's no big, the game day experience. So I think we struggle with that in the consistency part, but I feel like we've been slowly and gradually building since we got back from spring break. We had a really good practice yesterday coming off the weekend, which is a really big deal because that's like just, any other deal. Like if you play on a Thursday and then a Saturday, you have extra days. So extra off days. So I think we're making the steady increase there, but we're not where we need to be, which is completely fine because if we were and I was sitting here like, yeah, it's the best the group's ever looked, I want it to be a steady build and increase to the fall. So that way when the fall hits, it's go time and all the stuff that we worked on in the spring is really carrying over spring and the summer. It just carries over into the fall. But yeah, it's been a steady increase, and guys are excited. Guys are locked in, wanting to put together good practices and show what we can do. So.
And then no, I look at 2 games that got to me last year. Really, I look at the Northwest game and Northeastern State. Like just the level of focus and the execution in those 2 games. It's like I think some fans may not be thinking here like, boy, if we could get this every week. Like this is a really good football team. So what kind of do you all have to get to in order to where that is kind of more of the standard, and maybe we have less of the Washburn situations or the Pitt State situations. Like, what? How do you all kind of get to where the Northeastern State and the Northwest Missouri, those type of games, are what we see week in and week out?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is when we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, when we don't kill ourselves with penalties or mistakes that are easily fixed. I think we're all around just a really well put together football team, and I think that's what made the Northeastern and the Northwest Missouri game. That's what created those outcomes. So I think just that, and then our just level of focus and preparation. We did some stuff on the road early in the season, and then Coach Doral, which is great about Coach Doral, he's always trying to take into account what the players are feeling, things like that. Very open to changing things if need be, stuff like that. And so our last road game of the year against Kearney last year, we tried something different. We said, hey, Coach, we maybe need less free time. Let's do some more meetings, some more stuff like this. And that was the best we played on the road all year. So I think we'll see more of that. And I think if we can just eliminate those mental errors and just play really clean football and really just not shoot ourselves in the foot, I think we'll be in a much, much better state as a football team week in and week out.
And you mentioned that Kearney game. I believe that came a week after the Pitt State game, and I felt, and I told Jacob Delson this. I'm like, I learned a lot about you all, the way you came out in that game, because you had the Washburn game and the Pitt State game. and it was not not good. You played it, it just wasn't good. But the effort and the level of fight you had in a very tough environment against one of the better QBs on the conference, but in the whole country, it said a lot about the team. How were you all able to kind of not rally around, but kind of look yourself in the mirror and decide that the previous two games wasn't how you all wanted the season to be defined by?
Yeah, so, like you said, played in those games. Everybody watched those games. Very tough pill to swallow. But after the Pitt State game, Coach Doyle came in and we actually watched offense. We watched all the offensive clips as a unit. So every position group was in there, and each position group counted on each play. Okay, this guy did what he was supposed to do, went to the right person, did the right job. And I think out of what we run, probably 60 plays, probably about half or a little over half, at least one person didn't do what they were supposed to. So that goes back to, like I was saying, the mental errors, the mental bust, stuff like that. It was like, okay, well, no wonder we, played like crap. I mean, half the snaps in the whole game, everybody moved in the right direction. Everybody did what they were supposed to. But then at the other half of the snaps, just one person didn't do their job. And it may not have affected the play, but it just affects the whole – it just goes back to, the outcome of that game. So when he brought that up to us, we were like, man, like, this really is, like, we've seen what we can do when we play clean football. And at that point, it was still a good chance for us to, obviously finish with the best record we've had in years here. So that was another thing was, the season's not over. We still have more games to play. This is a very beatable team. You guys can do it. So he told us that and then introduced, okay, we're going to tweak the schedule a little bit. We're going to do things here and there that we haven't done, see if that helps. And it did. And we played the best away game, our road game that we'd played all year. Obviously didn't come out with the outcome we wanted, but we literally played to the last second of that game. So I think that gave us a lot of momentum going into Central Missouri because, again, 5-5, we had the opportunity to go 6-5, which we hadn't had a winning season here since 2018. So that was another big thing of, okay, just know what's at stake here. First winning season under Coach Doral, momentum going into the off season and stuff like that. So I think that's what pushed us and what made the biggest change from, getting blown out in 2 back-to-back weeks to playing a really competitive football team against a really competitive football game against a really competitive football team.
And how big of a boost has it been going into the offseason so far? Knowing for one, you had success last year. You said you had a film record in 3 years, but also kind of knowing it could have been more. Like how much motivation, how much fuel is that adding to you all on top of just wanting to be the best team that you can possibly be?
It adds a bunch. It's been said multiple times of, we look back and it's funny because I feel like in not only football, but in life and things, after situations happen, you're like, man, could have done this better, could have done that better. And it's natural, but we really, took a deep dive in ourselves and our football team. And we're like, this could lead to something great in the fall. Like there's no guarantees, things happen, life happens, but we really took a step back and analyzed from, the inside out. And we say it all the time, we've went 6-5. That was the first step. So the next step now is growing upon that. We have a lot of goals that we're not afraid to put out there, like win a conference championship, make the national playoffs, win homecoming, things like that. We're not afraid to put that stuff out there. So I think the momentum that the 6-5 gave us has carried over with motivation, just things like that. Because like you said, we knew there was a bunch of stuff left on the table for us. And it's exciting to think, okay, like we went 6-5 and we had the capability to, compete against everybody. So.
Okay, I see our second guest, UCO running back Jayce Gardner has joined. Now, I gotta say that this is a much different setup, Jayce. But we had the last time you came on here. Now you got the gamer chair. He's got the mic. I mean, this man. So now I have to ask. What I mean. How like what was the process of getting this set up now? Because I'm genuinely curious. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, sir. Yeah.
Got the whole new setup, and we can't even hear.
And they can't even. I mean, man comes in here hot, ready to go. Like, got the fresh hair, and and it's just man, I got no sound right now. Well, we still can't. We can't hear you.
No. How about
There you go.
There we go.
There we go. Man, that's crazy. No, so I have so many inputs and outputs, and so I've never been on this app before, and so it doesn't have my input saved on which mic to use because I have a webcam mic, this mic, and then this mic I can all speak to, but I prefer to use this one. So I was having a little trouble. It synced to the wrong one.
Okay, now I have to give you credit because you came on here I think about this time last year, and you were saying you were in the process of redoing your setup. This is pretty good. So you want to just before we get into it here, like how you want to walk through your setup here, like the like what you have going on because that's a solid setup, my guy.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like in streamer mode right now. I haven't streamed in a while. I haven't streamed since before I had surgery, actually. I'm waiting to get a new graphics card, which will be happening next week. But yeah, so I have like kind of like an L desk facing away from my door. I got my PC, P5, monitor, laptop. So just kind of the whole stream setup right there.
Yeah,
All put together.
Right here. This guy right here. Okay. Well, all right. Well, I guess. So now, so what are we streaming these days?
Call of Duty. That's it. Call of Duty. I'm thinking about starting to stream some horror games whenever I actually get this new GPU, but right now it's going to be Call of Duty. I've definitely kept the gameplay up.
Okay. We definitely gonna get. We were definitely gonna get that whatever you stream on Twitch, whatever it is. We'll get the information out there. Get some people tuning into the mainstream. So, well, Jayce, I guess we should first start off by saying, how's the recovery going for you here? Are you still in pretty good spirits? How's that going?
Yeah, so recovery is going good. Just taking everything one day at a time. You gotta set those small goals and just proceed forward. I will say it was pretty rocky at first. That's definitely the most physical, emotional pain I've ever been through. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But recovery is going good, and I'm progressing very well. I'll be starting sprints here at the end of April, agility end of April, and sprints in mid-May. So I'm moving along pretty well.
Good. And now I know from a position standpoint, you're playing for your third running back coach, right? You had Coach Ranellis, you had Coach Gilbert last year, now you got Coach Skeletor. So how tough has it been to be playing for this many different position coaches in your college career?
I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit of kind of an adapt thing, but me and P. Scott, I mean, he's been there since day one. We've kind of just set the attitude of just whoever comes in, not that we control the room, but we're the spirit of the room in kind of a sense. I definitely feel like P is kind of the grandfather of the group, grandfather sensei. And I don't know, I'm like a right-hand man or something of that sort. But no, it's definitely a fun group to have. We got a lot of new running backs I'm excited about.
Yeah, I was talking to Layne about some of them. Now, I know there's Jaden Washington. There's a few more people in that group. So kind of what have you seen out of that group that should have UCO fans hyped for that position this year?
I think speaking of that group, we've seen Jalen. Jalen, he can really hit that outside edge and go. I think Tajay is kind of very similar to that. Uh, I think we all have our unique traits and our own kind of unique run styles, and I think just kind of having a blend of all of that's just going to be real dangerous. I'm really excited to see how it is because we
You, you, did he freeze?
You froze, I think. You froze, brother. And now we can't hear you.
No, you lost.
this shit.
There you go. There you go.
But no, we like I said, we have a lot of new guys that I'm really excited about. It's kind of we all have different run styles, and I think that we're all going to find our niche in this offense.
Now, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I think in the Washburn game, you hurdled a guy again. I feel like you hurdled a guy, right? Okay. This is what the second year, third year you hurdled a guy. I mean, I feel like there's kind of a risk there, Chase. Like, you get caught in the air. I mean, that might not end well. So, like, are we sizing up the guy before you hurdle? Like, oh yeah, I can jump over this guy, or do you just like jump and just say YOLO and hope for the best?
I mean, no, a lot of that's film. You can kind of tell who your ankle biters are going to be just by watching their film. Not to mention, I'm kind of a bigger running back, so a lot of guys kind of trying to, dive for the legs, and that's fine. But I mean, I don't really mind going airborne. I got the hop, so I can do that. But I mean, we'll see. I think they'll come back just fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think anything of it. You can really tell by their eyes. If their eyes look down, they're going down.
Okay. Now, and I want to get this out the way now because we have Layne here now. I just want to give you the floor because when I brought on Hunter Largent, I gave him the floor. Now, every time I ask about the auxiliary cord in the locker room in terms of who's the best and who's the worst, Jayce, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. They put you in the worst. All right, they say you're among the worst. You were criticized for putting on some R&B Drake during a morning workout. I want to give you the floor here to defend yourself. How do you respond to people that's saying you are among the worst on the odds?
Saying I played R&B Drake is very.
They said you played R&B Drake.
That is very inaccurate. If I listen to Drake, that's definitely going to be alone. But I definitely mainly play. I want to say G Herbo and 21. As cliche as that sounds, I think that's definitely what I play most. Maybe a little Playboy here and then. I know they hate Playboy, but yeah.
Okay. I'm saying, everybody that I've
they're just haters. They're just haters, man. I want names, man.
I mean, you can go back and Hunter for sure called you out.
Hunter? Bro. Hunter from the Sticks, of course. He don't know music taste.
Now, Hunter, for me, he listens to every type of music. Okay, he just says you all just don't listen to real country. Now, I'm not a country music kind of sure, but he claims you only listen to mainstream, which is not real country.
I don't listen to country at all. You ain't gonna find no country on this Spotify, bro. That's not happening. I don't listen. That's why Hunter don't like the music I played. I don't got no country.
Oh, okay. Now we're gonna ask Layne this now because now in terms of the odds, I know I asked you this last year though, but is your fellow more native? Is he that bad on the odds, or are people just saying that?
People are just saying that he's not that bad. He's not bad at all. I actually like a lot of the music he plays. I would say, and I'm going to sound old for saying it. I'm going to sound like I'm 50 years old, but it doesn't matter who's on it. As long as you keep it down, I'm okay. Because I'm trying to have conversations sometimes. There'll be 5 people in the locker room, and they want to play it at full blast, and you can't even hear yourself think. I'm all for it, but I'm like, at a certain point, you gotta tone it down. But no, Jayce is not even close to the worst. If I had to say worst Ox on the team, oh man, Andrew
Rob.
Carney's up there. Andrew Carney is up there.
That's crazy you said. That's my locker mate, and I'm gonna be honest. I like a lot of the stuff he plays whenever he comes in the
Really?
locker room because he's always in a different type of mode. He's always in a different spirit. You never know what he's
I
gonna be
agree.
playing.
I agree, and I would probably say that not from myself because I'm the same way. I have a wide music taste, but I just know when he gets up there, I mean, people are not happy. But I'd say I don't know. I don't even know who you could say the best is. I mean, a lot of people like Robert Givens on there.
I'm gonna
But
be honest. I love Rob, but I don't like Rob on Ox, bro.
really,
And it's because he'll go from one song up here and then do another song down here and then one up here. I need a vibe to be set and
yeah,
then continued.
I agree.
I can't go
Yeah,
from sad to slow and to fast and young boy. I can't go. I can't be
yeah,
there.
yeah. Oh well, I don't know. I think it's just such a. It just depends on who you ask, really. I mean, there's no, I don't think right or wrong, but yeah, Robert goes back and forth. Um, but half the time, I don't even know who's on the Hawks. I just doing my thing in the locker room, just whatever I got to do.
I think Trail got good taste. Trail got good taste.
Yeah,
Kevion, whenever he's on there, rare and behold, he has good taste.
yeah, yeah. I'm not. There's never been, I don't think, anybody where I'm just like, this is like awful. This is pitiful. Like this guy needs his phone thrown away. Um, I mean, everybody, like I said, they've got their own taste, but no, I'll back Jayce up. He definitely is not the worst by far. So
Okay. Okay. I want to give the man the time to respond to that because, like I said, a lot of people as of late have been saying when I asked them who's the worst, usually the first name you and Hunter are the first few names to pop up. So I just wanted to give you time to respond to that, because
Yeah, me and Hunter gonna have some words.
no, no, I'll just say. Okay, I want to know the result of that conversation. If someone could give me the result of that conversation, I need to know because I'm genuinely curious now. Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay, well, I had to ask that, and I also have to ask because Layne's Westmore, Jayce is Moore. Now I know you have a few teammates, Matt Gardner, Raekwon, they're Southmore. So I have to ask now because we know Southomore's been down bad. Okay, so your alma maters, let's be honest here, pretty handily beat them. When that happens, how much trash talk do you all give them, or do you just know it's like this isn't the sophomore of old? We can't really hold this against them, or do you all just like go for blood and just rub it in as much as you can for as long as you can?
You wanna go ahead? You wanna go first, Layne?
sure. It's funny because like Matt Garner, like Mac knows they suck, so he never comments on it. Wicks sometimes gets in it because I feel even bigger than like crosstown rivalries. I feel like the biggest thing is when you get out of state guys and they're like, "Nah, Texas football is the best." And then it gets into a whole state deal as opposed to the crosstown rivalry. So, yeah, I think I've had many conversations with Wicks about. He's like, "Yeah, but when I was there and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "We're not talking about when you were there, man. Like these at least Jason's program and my program are, although Westmore hasn't been too hot the past few years, it's nowhere compared to Southmore. So,
Amen.
so
Yeah. To second that, I will say I don't even consider Southmore part of the rivalry. And
Dang.
no, like I'm gonna be honest, like going through like that was never someone like we seriously like would mark on our calendar just because I mean don't get me wrong, you prepare for every game, but I mean like Westmore, like that's just a different vibe. I mean I remember watching More War since I was like 6 years old. I mean, like that's how deep it ran for me. I don't even remember watching Battle of the Big Cats when I was no. Um, Especially since they're the third school, they're kind of like the little brother of the family. They just kind of get tossed to the side. But uh, nah, when it comes to More War, I mean, they definitely. I mean, yeah, they. I can't say I went out and beat Westmore. They got that.
Yeah, yeah. I just okay. So in terms of the Moore Ward, the Moore and the Westmore, because obviously it's Layne and Kavion, and then it's you, it's Dylan, and then I think Jalen Pound signed from Moore. So there'll be three Lions, I think two Jaguars. So the result of that game, whoever wins, how long do you bask in that win? Is it for the full year until they play again, or is it like okay, I'll give it a few weeks and then kind of cease the trash talk?
You know,
I
you
was just
wanna?
about to say. I was just about to say, Jace, go ahead, man.
I'm gonna be honest. Don't keep up with high school football anymore.
Yeah,
Like, don't get me
just
wrong. I'll check Twitter
same
and I'll be
thing.
like, yeah, my Lions won. Good stuff, alumni. But I mean, I didn't go to last More War. I'm kind of, especially around that time, we're kind of in our own season, so I'm kind of just focused on what we got going on. And I wish them good luck and everything, but I'm just kind of lasered in.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's so my sister went to Moore, and she just graduated this past year. So I went to every Moore War for her. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I kind of said, like on the last time I was on the show, like I mean, we hardly ever talk about uh, you know World War or anything like that. But I do know when Moore finally broke the streak, I was there for that game, and I was just thinking, I was like, you know, it's funny. I again sound old. Just go back to that, but when we were in high school and Jason and I were in high school, I was thinking, I was like, if they would have beat us, like that whole city would have probably been on fire. Like, and you know what they did? They just jumped the fence and they just celebrated. And I was like, I remember like my junior year, senior year, like it's all like it's widely casted across the news. People are like willing to go to jail for this game, and you're just like, I was just thinking, I'm like, goalposts would be torn down, fires would be lit, and I was a little disappointed. That's what I was expecting. That's what I was expecting, but there was none of that. They just jumped the fence and just kind of like whatever. And then I think Westmore got it back last year, but no, just to simply answer your question, like Jay said, we're kind of in our own. We're in our own season and our own. Worrying about our own stuff, but you check in every once in a while, and you're like, okay, cool. They got the win. They did what they needed to do. So, but well, yeah, the more kids, and if there's any Westmore kids coming in the fall, it happens with every high school kid. That's all they talk about is high school for their first semester. That's just a part of it. But I'll have to again sound old and be like, well, when I was at Westmore, when I was in school.
Okay, okay. I had to ask. We know we got two in the same place. I'm like, you know what? I have to ask this question. Okay, good, good. Well, for the answer Danny's question because he chimed in the chat there about 12 minutes ago. I'm trying to make it out there next Friday, Danny. I know you've been hounding me about this. People got 9 to 5, sir. I can't just like show up. I mean, um, so for Jason now, so could you like walk us through what the recovery is kind of like, what the rehab process is like, um, kind of give people an insight about what your process is to get back on the field.
So right now I'm shooting for a timeline of August 15th, to put the pads back on. Like I said, we'll begin agility here at the end of April. I've already started doing like some light agility stuff, small jumping, just ladder stuff, cones, little things like that. Um, but as far as timetable goes, I mean, August 15th is definitely the goal. Uh, a week kind of looks like is a pull run 3 times a week, And then I actually do physical therapy with shout out OSSPT Jeff Frazier. That's my dude over there. So I do physical therapy back and more. I drive back and forth 3 times a week just for it. I mean, he's definitely worth it. He's worth the drive. I mean, he takes great care of me. Uh, how we gauge every single day just based on how I'm feeling. I mean, right now I can honestly say I'm killing therapy. I'm about like a month and a half advance of where I should be. Um, it's going great. I mean, I can confidently say I'm very excited to get back in August. Very excited.
Now, now you'll be returning to a unit that it got better this off season. It might be the deepest it's been in your time. Like, is there enough carries to go around here? Like, I mean, I was just looking at the roster. I'm like, this is gonna be tough because it's like all you guys are good. I feel like all you guys will play on the majority of other teams in the conference, probably in the country. And I'm looking and I'm like, man, like one, two, three, four, like all the way down. So how do you kind of envision that competition in fall camp being, or do you think it'll be more of like it's a competition, but at the end of the day, you just want to see the best man out there and have the best man succeed and help you all win? Oh, oh, was he froze again? Oh, there he is.
It keeps going. It keeps muting. Um, but no, the kind of group that we have, I don't want to say I don't see competition because there's definitely competition, but it's more of a brotherly competition. You know what I'm saying? It's more iron sharpens iron. I don't, you know, wish any. As far as I'm concerned, I want the best dude out there cutting it up, and I mean, whoever it is, I think it's going to be a tough pull, and I think we're going to give a great run. But I think that on the after side of fall camp, I think we're all going to kind of come out stronger, sharper, more focused backs. And I can confidently say, just going into the mindset that I had last season, it was kind of like a very darkish, selfish mindset. And I, obviously didn't see any growth from that early on in the season. And, I had to get right uh, and I had to get disciplined. But I can just say confidently that going into this season, I think that the best you can do for your unit is be the best teammate. When you have the intention of being the best teammate and just full of love, which is all I got for these dudes, honestly, um, I think it just pushes everyone to go harder. Because I mean, you're not just doing it for yourself; you're doing it for your guys. Everyone next to you, your unit. I mean, you got to represent. I mean, Layne can tell you, O line has a reputation to uphold. Tight ends have a reputation to uphold. Same thing with running backs and quarterbacks. It goes hand in hand. And I just think that as a unit, that reputation will be very much upheld.
And now I was gonna ask about that because I remember seeing you after Northwest Missouri and then seeing you after Fort Hayes, and it was two different Jayce Gardners. Like the one from Fort Hayes, he looked happy. He looked like he was enjoying playing the sport, as to where when I saw you after Northwest, that wasn't the case. So you mentioned you kind of were in a dark place, so to speak. How were you kind of able to claw your way out of that and get to a spot where you felt like you were good mentally and on the field?
I think a lot of the people that truly like know my character and know who I am on the team saw that I was in a dark place. People like Coach K, I really got to give him credit. Um, like like he's always been in my ear, like yo, like what's going on, like give me feedback, and that was even the case back then. And that type of mentality is just like that selfish, undisciplined mentality of the I can do this by myself. And, like that doesn't get you anywhere. And I learned from that. And honestly, I can say I'm glad I learned that lesson. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have loved to play the whole season and everything. And even though it was shortcut due to an ACL and just some complications, uh, I can confidently say I'm looking forward to this next season. Uh, Mentality is first, so you got to make sure you have that before everything. And I think going into this next season, that is definitely taken care of.
And I know you the unfortunately the game for your ACL, it was your first start since the opening of the Penn State game. I know I was up there. I was very excited to see you have worked your way back up to the starting role. What did starting in that game mean, coming from where you were to now once again starting? Like, did that have any more like meaning behind it than other starts, or did it just feel like it was just another start?
I mean, it had a lot more meaning to it. Uh, I mean, I got switched to scout team, and it's not normal for a starting player to be on scout team. And I think whenever that start came, it felt much more deserved, and I felt like my teammates knew it was well deserved. I felt like I had earned that spot back, and I felt like it was well known that, like, all right, he's put in all this time, he's done what he's had to do. Like, let's see what he's got to. Let's see what he's going to do. Let's see if we can see old Jayce. And I think we definitely got a glimpse of that.
And I asked Layne this as well, but when I look at last season, I look at two games, well, three games really in particular stick out to me. You had Northwest Missouri, Northeastern State, and Fort Hays, just from the level of team focus and execution. And I think, a lot of people look at that and say, if we could get this for 11 weeks, like, this would be a really, really good football team. And so I posed the question to Layne, like, how do you all, because consistency has kind of been an issue the past few years, how do you all kind of get to that point where that is the norm for UCO football team more times than not an outlier, but more of a, like, okay, we hope this is what we're seeing this week out of them, instead of we know this is what we're going to see out of them.
I think consistency comes from dedication to detail. Truly, um, I try and refer to myself as Mr. Consistent, and honestly, I feel like as much as consistent as I am and as hard as I can work, a teammate that really inspires me is Buckeye. Like, you ask anybody, that dude is Mr. Consistent as it comes. And I think that type of attitude is really just the focus that we need to have coming into summer, coming into fall camp. It's just that the dedication, the pudding is truly in the details. Like, if y'all want to do this right, there's a certain way you have to do it. There's a certain way you go about the process. You got to be professional now. You handle your business. This ain't high school ball no more. This ain't no 6-5 ball no more. Like, I'm sure Layne knows. Like, we are truly playing for competitive ball. Like, we want championship to be on the line. Like, that's what we want. Like, that's what we're coming for. And I know to get there, details are gonna have to be the key.
Yeah, because Lane also mentioned that, also kind of doing the little things right. Because when I look at just what I've seen, the playmakers you can now have a receiver. There's Danny, there's Darius, there's Tariq. According to, I know, Jacob Delso, he's trying to get in better shape. Mitch Terrell Davis is going off. So when you look at the playmakers around, I know sometimes last year the offense kind of drew some criticism, but I posed the question to both of you, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be an obvious yes. But do you think that this is a unit that fans are going to enjoy watching on Saturdays?
I think so, but I think it's gonna take a couple things first before we can truly get to that level. I think that as a team, we have great units. Our wide receiver group, great to each other. O line, buddy buddies. But I think we need to have that mesh, and I think that comes through hard work. That comes through true sweat, true grind, and you have to know the dude next to you. I think that's kind of what this summer's ironed out for, and I think that's going to be our plan and our intention and our real focus during the summer is, all right, I'm in this, you're in this. We gotta buck our heads and get through this because I mean, this is all we gonna have. And I think during fall camp, that message is gonna be pushed even stronger because Layne knows not everyone makes it through fall camp. Not even everyone even gets invited to fall camp. So when you're in that fall camp atmosphere, those 2 weeks do not feel like 2 weeks. That feels like almost a lifetime. And your locker mate is going to be your brother for the next. Everyone's really going to be your brother for the next 2 weeks. You got to get used to it. And so I think that coming out this next season, that mesh is going to be greatly established, especially since we have so many playmakers. Every single time we throw a ball up in practice and the receiver, I see him running, I'm really excited about what he's about to do. Danny, dog. Darius, playmaker. Tariq, like I can't say enough good things about the things I've seen.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Jayce just said, I think he brought up a great point of the mesh, and you really find who you can count on in the summer. We've seen that from these mid-year guys, these transfers we've seen. They put in a lot of good work in the offseason, but now it's time. Okay, they put it on the film in the spring, then it's time for the summer. Like he said, it's a real grind. It's going to be different than probably anything we've experienced since we've been here. But I think that's where, coming out of that and coming out of camp, you're like, okay, man, I can count on this dude no matter what. Like, in a tough situation, if it's a 4th and goal fade ball, if it's anything we need from those guys, they'll be able to come through with it. And I think as far as that receiver group goes, and I feel like it's the same with a lot of groups. Like, I think we're used to seeing a lot of like monotonous drives. We have the occasional big play, this, that, and the other. But I think we have a lot of home run guys that, at receiver, running back, tight end, we have a lot of those guys where at any given time they can take one the distance. And I think that's going to be the most exciting thing is seeing how hard those guys work and just seeing it pay off in the fall with, those big plays and stuff like that, where we haven't really seen a whole lot in this offense of, just being able to go down and have 3 or 4 play drives and stuff like that. So I think the home run effect is huge this year with the guys that we brought in, and it'll only get better, like Jay said, with team mesh in the summer and fall camp, just going through that hard stuff with guys that you can count on. So.
And now both of you have mentioned fall camp. Now, for those that might not know how grueling of a time fall camp is, you could just what is fall camp like?
Go ahead, man.
All right. Like Jay said, it's usually about 14 days, maybe a little bit longer, like maybe 2.5 weeks. But it literally feels like you're just stuck in time. Every day is the same thing. You got practice in the morning, you got your meetings, your lifts, come back, more meetings, walkthroughs, stuff like that. It's really just, a grind, and it takes a toll on your body because you only have one off day in the week. So you go 6 straight days, and then you get a Sunday off, and then you start it back up. And, the only time guys ever really go home is to sleep, because like myself, I live less than 5 minutes from campus, but I know if I go home, I'm going to be like, man, my bed's nice. My house is nice. I don't want to go back. So I literally, from the moment I get there in the morning, I don't leave until 7 o'clock at night. And it's just a process. Like Jay said, guys don't even get invited. Guys don't make it through. I've seen kids come in and on their first day quit. It's not for everybody, and it really helps you understand and defines you as a football player. Because I remember my freshman year, I got through camp and I was like, man, if I can do that, I can do anything. And I feel like that's it's a really good stepping stone in any player's career. Is I'll be going into my 4th fall camp, and every year I get out of there, man, I'm just like, man, I'm blessed to have been able to, come out of it healthy, come out of it a better player, just stuff like that. So it's a grind. I mean, when guys say that, and when players tell you it's camp season, it's time to go, the prayers are greatly appreciated, because it takes a wear on your body, your mental, just everything emotionally. It's just a whole roller coaster of emotions and feelings. But when you get out of there, you're like, all right, I'm ready to start the season. And you just got a lot of good work in. So that's how I'd probably describe it.
For me personally, I do consider myself to be quite introverted. So being around, the dudes I see every day for 14 hours a day can be a little stressing for me, a little tollful. But I mean, like I said, it's all worth it. Like Layne, I have a deep passion for this sport. I love these dudes, and as much as a headache all of this can be, it's very worth it. I wouldn't trade none of this for anything.
Now, my final question for you all now because spring game is in a few weeks, the 28th. I think it's 7:30. What are you all hoping to see out of the team in the next few weeks leading up to that game? And what do you hope to be able to take from spring into the off-season workouts in the fall camp?
Me personally, I want to see some big runs. I want to see a big play by running back. We had some small things, some small tens here and there and stuff. But I want to see a running back take it 80. For me personally, that's what I want to see. A running back take it 80.
Yeah, I mean, as a team, I just want to see. I want to see us put together a complete practice scrimmage, the whole nine. I want to see be able to come back after that and be like, okay, our mental errors were very limited. We didn't have a whole lot. I want to see guys compete. Um, I want to see guys having fun. This is a time to really let loose and kind of just um, enjoy yourself. And like Jay said, I'm really excited to see big plays. I'm excited to see offensively, you know, running back take it like he said, 80 yards to the house. I'm ready to see, a receiver make a great move, burn somebody off the line, just stuff like that where we may not have seen it a lot in the past, but I think it's something that we'll see a lot more in the future. And I'm super excited about that. And just really hoping everybody comes out of it healthy. Spring's a tough deal. It's 15 practices, like I said, but, the wear and tear is still there. You have to treat it like an in-season type deal. So I hope everybody comes out feeling good, feeling healthy, get some time off to get your body underneath you. And then, when June 1st comes, we hit the ground running, don't take any steps back. So that's what I'm hoping to see for sure.
Well, before I let you guys go here, I had that because the draft is in a few weeks. Obviously, we know Layne over there, the Eagles fan. They fell short this year. They were close. I saw they let Gardner Johnson walk, which surprised me and the Eagles fans I work with. So going into the draft, I'm gonna first ask Layne this year. What are you hoping that your Eagles do? They have two first round picks, not a
Yeah.
whole lot of weaknesses here. What are you hoping that they come away with?
Well, I've been on my GM mindset lately. So, Howie Roseman, he has actually, here's a surprising fact, has never taken a running back in the first round. And he's been the GM for 7 years. So I think with the 10th pick, I think they stick. I don't think they trade. And I think they stay in the trenches. So if Jalen Carter falls, I think they take him. I've seen Lucas Van Ness, the kid from Iowa. I think they stay in the trenches somewhere like that. And then at the 30th pick, I don't think Bijan will fall that far, but I think if he does, I think we can see that. I also can see the safety from Alabama. He's been in the mock drafts a lot. But yeah, they made a lot of good offseason signings, 1-year deals, but kind of prove it deals for these guys. They're young cats, 26 years old, who were all former first-round picks, looking for a chance to prove themselves. So I see that. I also saw something today of them trading up to the 3rd pick and taking Will Anderson. I mean, I would not be opposed to that. There's not a whole lot that they could do that would make me upset. Unlike the what was that, the 2019 draft when they passed up on Jefferson and drafted friggin' J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. But yeah, that's my prediction. That's my crystal ball. So we'll see how that pans out.
Now I know Miles Sanders. I think he's gone now. So do you have faith in Kenny Gainwell being the main back, or are you hoping maybe there's a slight chance they're still in on the Zeke Elliott market, even though he was a Cowboy? I have to ask that because
No, Zeke's out. Zeke will not be in the midnight green. He will not be playing for the Eagles. I think Kenny showed a lot in the postseason. I don't think he'll be a first down back. I think that's why they went and signed Rashad Penny, he's been a great back since he's been in the league. He's just been injury prone. So I think they've got him, Rashad Penny. They want to try and get Trey Sermon some carries in there. But I think if Bijan falls far enough, I think they have no choice but to take him. So I'm pretty confident in the room that they have right now.
Okay. Now, Jayce, I believe last time we talked, I think you were a Titans and a Chiefs fan. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So obviously, we know you were over the moon about the outcome of the Super Bowl. Now, I have to ask here now, with Eric Bieniemy going to Washington, do you have any concerns about offensive drop off, or do you just feel like we have Mahomes and Kelsey, so nothing else really matters here?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really pay much attention to the draft, but I know that. But listen. I know the Chiefs are Mr. Get It Dones. I got faith in Pat. I got faith in Andy Reid. I got faith in Kelsey. We'll be straight.
Okay. Now, in terms of your Titans here, do you believe Malik Willis is the guy, or do they need to still look elsewhere for a quarterback?
I think Malik Willis can handle it, but I'm worried about what Derek gonna do. I'm worried about Big King Henry. That's what I'm worried about. We had kind of a rocky season last season, so I need a reminder season. I'm gonna call it that.
Yeah, but I mean, like they literally had like zero receivers though. I mean, they traded away AJ Brown to Layne's
I know
Eagles.
we traded away AJ
I mean,
Brown. I don't even know why we did that. I don't even understand that trade. I don't understand why you would trade your wide receiver one and then not replace him. Don't understand it.
And they did. They replaced him with Treylon Burks. I just thought that was their plan.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that trade.
They didn't want to pay AJ Brown. They said, "Okay, we'll just get Treylon Burks and hope for the best." And
yeah, no, AJ Brown's a Super Bowl contender. Was on a Super Bowl contender team. No,
they actually fired the Titans GM after the Titans came to Philly and played them.
I'm not surprised. AJ probably torched us.
Yeah, he did. He had 2 touchdowns and like 170.
There we go. I don't know why you would trade AJ Brown. That's like shooting yourself in the left foot. Like, bro, and that's what they did.
Oh man, that's great. Well, I appreciate you gentlemen taking time out of your Tuesday evening to come on, chop it up with me, chop it up for the viewers out there. Again, anytime you want to come back on, you're more than welcome to. I hope Jayce, I hope your recovery goes well. There's no setbacks. Layne, I hope the rest of camp goes well. You all get through it healthy. You get the goals you want accomplished. And I'm looking forward, knocking on wood, the weather doesn't storm and lightning like it did last year. I plan to be there for that spring game. So hopefully can catch up with you all in person there. But again, I really appreciate you all taking time to come on and talk. Appreciate everybody that came, went, stayed, commented. We plan to have more of these in the future. So if ever you all want to come back on, I know Jayce is Mr. Streamer here with his grade A setup. So if he ever wants to, you all ever want to come back on, you're welcome to. Jayce, I'm going to give you time here if you want to plug your streaming channel, whatever, however you do your streaming.
Yeah, you can find it's in my Twitter info, Twitch @SlumJ.
Okay, and is there a certain schedule? Do you just stream when you get the itch? Like how's that going?
So I play every night, but like I said, I can't stream right now because I have to get a new graphics card because Call of Duty just had so many quality upgrades. But like I said, getting a new graphics card next week. Oh, I'm messing my camera up. Look at that. Getting a new graphics card next week. Stream will be back up by April 22nd.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and come through. I know now you should have to run something with Coach Donald. I know he streams. I need to He had to connect there. You know,
I played with Donald before. I played with Donald before. I carried.
He said he carried.
I did. No, I swear. I dropped like I want to say like 20 something, and because I was playing with Peyton Hunt. You can ask him about this. I was playing with Peyton Hunt. It was me, Peyton. It was Vashon Blackshire. Used to be athletic trainer with at UCO. It was all three of us and Coach Donald. I love Coach Donald, bro. Drop 4.
Oh, now is that because you're just that good, or is Coach Donald not that good?
No. Usually all my dogs eat. Like V's usually right there behind me. Like if I like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not nearly as good in this new war zone as I was the old one. I'm not, but I'll get there. I'll get there. Like if I'm usually dropping 14, 15, he's right there at 13, 12. Or sometimes he even beats me. Sometimes he'll have 11 and I'll have like 6 or something like that. But I'm gonna get right.
Okay. Yeah. Next time you stream, let us know. I'll put something out there and let people slide through there, see your gaming skills.
I got you.
Especially since you invest in that setup. I'm really impressed by the setup. I know a lot of you. I'm really impressed by the setup. Man, got the gaming.
It's about to get better. I'm about to put a whole new graphics card in. Like I said, I'm about to put a whole new CPU in, a whole new motherboard in. It's gonna get better.
This guy right here, man, I tell you, I mean, just the glow up between we interviewed you last time, you coming on here. I mean, you were just hoping to get like a capture card for like the last time, and here we are now. Got the whole shebang. Okay,
yeah, I got the whole shebang.
All right, well, look at this man here. Okay, well, gentlemen, like I said, I appreciate you all taking time to come on. I appreciate all the people that came, stayed, went the whole time. Appreciate you all. Hopefully we'll be back here soon. Definitely post spring to have some content. So until then, I don't know if Jayce, Layne, you got any final words for people out there?
No, I appreciate you for having us on.
Appreciate it.
No problem, gentlemen. All right, guys. Thank you.
Have a good one.